Hello, I'm Nadine Blaney. Welcome to Media Week. Ahead on the program, a new weekend magazine for News Corp Australia. oOh!media increases its push into the content business. And Game of Thrones sets a subscription TV ratings record. Our co-host James Manning, editor and publisher of Media Week, is here to take us through all of those stories and more, of course. But first, the rebranded Nine MSN was launched as nine.com.au this past week with news, sport, lifestyle and entertainment content. The new look nine.com.au is the online gateway to 11 well-known brands, and that includes Nine News, Wide World of Sports, video-on-demand product Nine Now, and the newly launched food destination, Get with the theme, Nine Kitchen. After a recent trade event to explain the changes to advertisers, Nine Entertainment co-chief executive Hugh Marks spoke with James Manning.
Obviously television is our main front of house, that's where most of our audience comes into our world, but digital is becoming increasingly important, and I think for us as a content company we need to focus on creating content not just in television but across those digital ecosystems as well. So television will remain the main source of audiences into our network, but digital is rising in importance every year, so a great investment for us to make.
How can you explain the split in terms of revenues? I mean, presumably there's big upside in digital. Where does it sit at the moment and where do you think it could go to?
At the moment, it's about 85% television, 15% digital. Certainly I've set a target for us to grow that in excess of 30% in the medium term in terms of revenue and profitability. It depends upon how you classify the digital income as well. So, nine.com.au and Nine Now, the video product, that's going to be an increasing source of our advertising revenue going forward. So, I think that's growing at quite a significant rate, and both in terms of audience and therefore in terms of revenue. So, yeah, I certainly see that being a growing part of our portfolio.
You and some of the other executives referenced today the significant amount of work you've done in the last 12 months, and it's a staggering number of launches you've put up, particularly in that digital space. You mentioned briefly some of the distractions you've had this year, I guess Beirut and 60 Minutes, but it doesn't seem to have slowed down the team at all.
No, it hasn't slowed us down. The world's changing at a pace and we need to change with it. So, we're running fast. We're running fast on the traditional business in terms of innovating our content offering. We learnt some lessons this year and, we'll learn from those and improve next year. We're running fast on the innovation of our platforms. Nine Now is a world-class product. Our web platforms, the nine.com.au ecosystem, they're world-class products. So, we're running fast, and in addition to that, changing technology so that the ad serving is better, so that the sales function is better, so that the sales accessibility of our business is easier for people to use. And that reliability, which is so important to advertisers these days, that's what we've got to focus on improving.
You made that, I guess, that some people thought was perhaps a hard decision to ask for registration when people wanted to sign up to Nine Now. 1.4 million plus and growing. Doesn't seem to have held it back at all.
That's a pretty impressive figure in 4 to 5 months of operation. No, I think audiences get that. I think they get why sign-ins are important, and also we've got to reward them for the sign-in, through promotions and other things that we'll start to institute over the years. So, I think audiences get that readily, and yeah, it's very important for us to understand more about our audiences and what they like and don't like and when they like it and don't like it. So it helps the whole service.
Your new regional affiliate partner told us today, look, at the moment, streaming isn't a massive deal because the audiences are still relatively small. I mean, when those numbers grow, have you covered that off at all in your agreement, which was a bit of a sticking point with your previous partner?
I think streaming is something that's important to offer, but I don't see it being a significant part of our business. Our people use the term streaming, but they use that for catch-up as well, right? So I think the streaming component, as we understand it, which is streaming the live channels, at the moment it's a quite small part of our total viewing, and I don't expect it ever to become a huge part of our total viewing because the data usage is quite extreme. So, I don't see that being a problem going forward, and again, with a good relationship, that's something that we'll address, if the audience behaviour changes. And if it does, we're there in all those platforms.
We heard the word investment quite a bit today, both in the television side of the business and digital. Is this extra money? If so, where's it coming from? Or are you just sort of spending a lot smarter maybe than you used to?
Spending smarter is key. You know, we've been ramping out of our foreign content spend. We've seen prices for foreign shows drop quite significantly, and that's a great positive development for us. And we're taking that opportunity to reallocate that money into local content. So that's where that investment's coming from. In terms of the digital side, you know, again, what we're seeing is as we invest money in those digital properties, the revenue is coming into that ecosystem. So, you know, it's not huge additional spend. It's really spending smarter and spending wiser for, you know, how the business is evolving. There is a bit of CapEx involved. CapEx is important for us to modernise the business, particularly sales systems. You know, that's some capital expenditure that we need to continue to do. And platforms like 9Now, obviously, you know, they also cost money. You know, that CapEx will pay for us in the long term.
And 9.com.au is live. We were just looking at it in the break. Well, moving on, and News Corp's Nick Smith is the publisher of the lifestyle media division in Australia, driving growth and innovation for a long list of brands, including Vogue Australia, GQ Australia, Vogue Living, Inside Out, Body and Soul, and Sunday Style. He's also been getting his hands dirty recently, editing GQ as it's between editors. But there are some really big changes afoot at Sunday Style, and Nick's joining us today to talk about that. Nick Smith, welcome. Phew, you're busy.
Yeah, it's a nice portfolio I've got my hands on, and it was really great this morning. We, I guess, relaunched our Sunday magazine product, which is so important to our advertisers, with the new brand Stella. So, yes, we'll be resting Sunday Style, but we'll be investing in our Sunday magazine products, taking it to the Queensland market, which has been something that our advertisers wanted for a while. Obviously, extending the editorial categories, so we're adding more food, more lifestyle, and actually more journalism up the front of the mag. So it's interesting times.
Yeah, I love my Sunday magazines. So what was the reaction, I guess, today, since you're fresh from that, from advertisers?
Really, really great feedback, actually. I ride my advertising team quite hard, so wanted to know, look, the first issue's already sold out, which is fantastic. So I'm looking for a bumper edition, I guess, for the first one. So, yeah.
Nick, what does that tell us about Sunday Style? A relatively new title, just over 3 years old, I think. Was it unsuccessful, or what was it not doing that you want to try and do with the new brand?
Well, what we really wanted to do is, I guess, streamline our magazine product on a Sunday, and that we always had the intention of taking it to Queensland. So I guess with an eastern seaboard reach, we have to let it be a little bit more broader in our approach. So that meant, I guess, delivering, I guess, news and lifestyle information through that, I guess, narrower focus of style, which is fashion and beauty, probably wasn't what we needed to be able to take a magazine of this strength and this size to the Queensland market. So we actually thought we'd reset the boundaries, and rather, I guess, you know, having something through a particular lens, such as Sunday Style, it's very specific. We wanted to create a brand which we could, I guess, move with the times and, I guess, ebb and flow these sort of editorial categories, such as, you know, news and information, lifestyle, entertainment, and food.
And food, importantly. What sort of a stamp are you expecting the new editor-in-chief really to put on it? Sarah Lamarcane has been, you know, brought on, so she's
a fantastic talent. She's obviously part of our news family. She's been running the very successful, I guess, opinion site Rendezvous for our mastheads digitally. So she's very savvy. She knows what's happening on social media, digitally, which is fantastic. And then also she's a great ambassador for women in media. So I think she'll be a fantastic face, and she'll bring really strong editorial credentials, which is what we wanted to. Now that we know we just have the moniker of just style, it's a broader, you know, everything in that magazine needs to be Stella. She'll be able, you know, she'll be, you know, making sure the editorial is exactly that.
I guess we don't have to ask why it's been named Stellar now.
Yeah, no, I was lucky enough to sit in on his presentation this morning, Nadine, and there were puns galore for Stella, but he's been quite restrained so far. So
there we go.
Bring him on, we can handle it.
He's looking after it. You mentioned the advertising for the first issue sold out.
Yeah.
You said you ride your advertising team pretty hard. Are you getting a bigger spread of advertisers? What are some of the categories you would like to get in there that maybe was as you said, Sunday Style was perhaps too narrow for them?
So importantly, with the new magazine, we've added 10 pages of food under our sort of premium lifestyle brand Delicious, which is incredible. That also opens up lots of editorial opportunities, bringing in Australia's favourite celebrity chefs. We've got Matt Preston there, who's joined, I guess, the Stellar team. So food, FMCG, is very important to us. Travel is also very important. Now, we also have Escape in our Sunday offering. So, you know, we've got good, I guess, market share there, giving, I guess, advertisers a higher, premium kind of environment to place their brand ads around travel too. And then obviously, I guess, with a broader magazine such as Stellar is, finance and automotive are key categories for growth.
Yeah, will it be a bigger book? People who are familiar with the Sunday Style, I mean, some of those inserted magazines, you compare them to consumer titles and you think, yeah, OK, I understand why I get this one at no charge. Yep. Are you able to up the sort of physical quality of the
so we've realised at News Corp that Sunday audience is so important for our advertisers, and I think this investment in this magazine is almost, I guess, the jewel in the crown of, I guess, our Sunday 2.0 project. So earlier we invested in Body and Soul and brought Michelle Bridges on board. We've relaunched Escape and its new website. And also, even though you would think of such a scale, we would have to keep book sizes small, we can actually ramp up the book size, which I think, you know, positively looks like we'll be able to add some more pages as we go into launch.
And there's big support of this launch as well, about $6 million marketing campaign, so really investing in the success on that front as well.
Yeah, so I've found over the years that News Corp does not like to do things by halves. So as well as, I guess, bringing on this stellar team run by Sarah Lamarca, we've also got some other great talent from the news family, such as Neil Whitaker, who's our editor-in-chief, and Donna Hay, who's our, I guess, our food guru. They're going to be contributing. And along with the launch, will be quite a comprehensive above-the-line marketing campaign. So TV, radio, digital outdoor, and obviously our own house assets too will get right behind it.
So this will be in the Sunday papers, not this week, and the following weekend from that?
It will launch August 28th.
Okay, August 28th.
Yeah.
Now, you had Mick Carroll was along there this morning, and the editor of Sunday Telegraph, Australia's biggest selling newspaper still, I think. Do the newspaper people see a magazine like that as does it help them sell copies of the newspaper? Is it an incentive for people to buy it?
Absolutely. So brands such as Body and Soul and Escape and our Sunday magazine product are, I guess, the primary reason that women and, importantly, grocery buyers buy the Sunday papers. So those editors have actually been really critical and actually really helpful in, I guess, agreeing that we can take a brand across 3 states. And obviously they've been very helpful with their own, I guess, powerful connections to help with the editorial sort of makeup.
The magazine business has been tough. We've had a lot of people on the show, even recently. The magazine network, the rebranded NTA, out there trying to push consumer magazines. You walk across both. Is it a bit easier on inserted magazines, or do they face similar challenges that the consumer titles?
Yeah, I think of this, because there's the scale of inserted magazines is so big. They can be expensive for advertisers to be able to find the funds to do a large campaign. So you do have to work with the advertisers, and even more so with inserted magazines, you have to drive a relationship with the advertisers to make sure that, I guess, a product such as Stellar delivers for them. So I see similarities between, newsstand and inserted magazines from a consumer point of view, that you have to make them destination reading. And it's really the same for advertisers, that you need to drive a relationship with them so they find your products worthwhile.
So what title, we mentioned off the top that you're a busy man, what title's next to sort of be revamped, do you think, after this is launched?
It's almost like painting the Sydney Harbour Bridge. Once you finish, you go back to the start. But my portfolio is really on fire at the moment. Obviously, luxury is booming in Australia, so Vogue and Vogue Living and GQ are...
So that end of the market's holding up, that luxury, and those luxury advertisers are still...
Absolutely.
It's still a good medium for them.
Yeah.
Print.
They absolutely love print as part of their marketing mix, and we've seen with our investment in digital and social over the last 3 years, we're actually seeing more revenue now come into print now that they can almost get audiences at scale. So that was particularly important for, say, Vogue and GQ to offer luxury audiences, which are really quite big now.
All right, we have to wrap it up. Nick Smith, pleasure to have you in. Look
Thank
forward
you
to
so
chatting
much.
again.
Cheers.
Nick Smith is lifestyle publisher at News Corp Australia. We have to take a short break here on Media Week. When we return, subscription TV records smashed. We'll talk Game of Thrones Season 6 next. No spoilers, though. Back in a moment.
Buying the perfect property can be a real challenge. You can spend months looking around only for the home you find to be bought by someone else. That's why I founded property buyers agency Cohen Handler, to empower the buyer to own the home of their dreams. With hundreds of successful purchases, we take the stress and long hours out of trying to buy a new home by guiding, negotiating, and purchasing your property. Simply call Cohen Handler today and tell us what you want in a property, and let us show you everything that exists in the marketplace, based on your criteria, including location, price, and potential growth.
Thanks to Cohen Handler, we were able to find the perfect home for our family to grow into.
We met with Cohen Handler in late January, and by April we had purchased a property.
There's nothing to lose. Save time and money. Get the experts from Cohen Handler on your side and find your perfect property today. Go online now at cohenhandler.com.au or call 1300 420 160 and get the right property at the right price.
Want top dollar for your property? Start by choosing the right agent. To find the right agent who'll get you the best price, go to agentresearch.com.au.
I want offers, big offers.
At Agent Research, we've researched and rated all the agents in your area. We'll show you who has a proven record of selling and getting top results.
If I'm going to sell, I want the best agent.
The wrong agent could cost you thousands. The right agent could make you a fortune.
Right agent, right price, that's what I want.
Agent Research is 100% free to sellers. We shortlist 3 top local agents who match your needs, and you choose the one who's right for you.
I want buyers fighting over my property.
Finding the right agent could mean so much more in your pocket. All it takes is a free chat. Just call 1300 622 732 or go to agentresearch.com.au.
You need a website. Why not do it yourself? With Wix, you can create your own professional website. Choose a template, change your text, add one of our images, or upload your own. And just like that, you've got your own stunning website.
Why would humans leave Earth for Mars forever?
I'm allergic to the planet.
Nasonex Allergy targets 4 allergic responses. It gives more effective hay fever relief than antihistamine tablets. Enjoy Earth.
This is Media Week. Our co-host James Manning, editor and publisher of Media Week, is here with me, and we'll be chatting about all the news out there in the media space in just a moment, including this. Looking at oOh!media taking a further step in its digital strategy, acquiring 85% of online content business Junkie Media. oOh! Paid just over $11 million for the stake in the youth publishing player in what CEO Brendan Cook says is a strategic move to ramp up the content side of its business.
And really it comes down to a strategy whereby advertisers are looking for multiple ways to engage and get deeper engagement. And if you combine the unmissability of the out-of-home medium and the offline benefits that it delivers, and then how do you play content into those screens that drives content into the online and richer experience you get there via your mobile. And that's been the strategy we've been working for a while. We've proved up the business case, grown revenues, and now is the time to add some more creativity to the business and really allow us to supercharge that as we move forward.
So this Junkie Media, James, a lot of people wouldn't be familiar with it, but it is amongst the millennials.
Yeah, look, a huge youth publisher. They get big audiences in their specialist markets.
Yeah.
And I think it looks a great deal for the Junkie Media, the shareholders there. It's been a nice payday for them. I think the total company's probably valued at around 14 plus, and I think oOh!media's got an option to take the remaining 15% further down the track. And those that management will be staying on. Neil Ackland and his team will remain with the company, and it expands, as Brendan said, their content offerings are QView, Hijacked and Short Press. They've been dabbling in that field, but this really takes it to a new level.
And Junkie, for those out there, formerly known as Sound Alliance, it changed its name back last July.
Correct.
Some of the other news out there, we've got News Life Media unveiling its all-new Body and Soul website, and it did so after conducting a survey with about 3,000 readers. So what are some of those changes?
Yeah, they've hired some spokespeople from different sectors. I think probably the highest profile is Libby Trickett, who the Australian athlete, who's joining as a guest editor, and they've got some other guest editors for food and some of the other sections. The Body and Soul, again, you said you like your Sunday magazines. That plops out of your Sunday Telegraph on a Sunday, or your Herald Sun, Sunday Herald Sun down in Victoria. And the magazine was given a refresh in February this year, and this sort of expands the offering that sort of matches it up with what they're doing online.
Yeah, My Body and Soul, I think it is. Vijay Solanki, he left Southern Cross Stereo after driving the digital transformation there. He's now with the Peak online advertising body, IAB.
Yeah.
So it sounds like a pretty good fit.
It is. I think it's great news for Vijay, because he moved from Europe to come out here for that Southern Cross job. I think barely 12 months in the role at the Southern Cross, did a lot of good work there. So it was good he was able to pick up a role there, replacing Alice Manners. We've had her on the show previously to talk about the internet ad spend in Australia. So I'll have Vijay on, no doubt, after he starts in the role. He doesn't start until January. August this year.
Yeah, look forward to that. Digital Radio Plus. So we've got Coles Radio and Triple M Rock topping the digital stations. But I guess more importantly, perhaps, is that the overall audience is really growing for digital, for DM Plus.
Yeah, look, compared to your traditional analogue radio, I guess, they're still relatively small audiences, about 150,000 close to cumulative audience for both Triple M Classic Rock and Coles Radio, compared like your biggest traditional stations like Fox FM, I think, has got over 1 million. So there's quite a difference, but this audience is growing, fueled by the car radios. So a lot of the new model cars now have the digital radio. That's where that audience is really starting to surge.
Been having these discussions with my husband lately. Okay, so obviously we're in the midst of an election campaign, actually coming to the pointy end of it. The Sunday papers came out telling readers to support Malcolm Turnbull as Prime Minister.
Yeah, look,
likely
I'm
to
not
have
sure.
an impact. You know, we were talking about this around Brexit.
Look,
the papers coming
I'm
out
not
there.
sure how many people take notice of, but I think the editorials, I think it somehow sets a tone for the editorial coverage in the papers too, you know. So I think the Sunday Age was the odd one out, said, look, maybe Bill Shorten does deserve a chance as to govern, but all the rest of the Sunday newspapers were pretty firmly behind Malcolm Turnbull, saying, look, it's early days in his leadership. Let's see how he goes under his own.
And James, the Media Week website, just to give you a plug, why not, has full election TV guide listings.
Yeah, we've got Sky News and the ABC, of course, doing the biggest coverage. Sky News got great detail about what the sister channel here will be up to, but there's also details of what 7 and 9 will be doing on election night. And by tomorrow we'll also have some significant coverage of what people like Google and Twitter. There's also a lot of information there if you want to sort of pursue the digital options as well.
MediaWeek.com.au.
That's it.
Okay, well, let's talk TV. This is for week 26, and this is free to air. And we've got, I guess that's not a big surprise, State of Origin, number 1, number 2.
Yeah, one match to go, of course, in the 3-game series, although it will be a dead rubber, but we can still bet it'll lead the ratings that week.
Okay, and to the subscription, or I guess we can flip the page and go on with free to air.
A couple of MasterChef appearances there, and I think we might even see a few more MasterChefs in that top 10 next week, I'm guessing.
I think so, top 10. Now to the subscription TV ratings for week 26, and this is, of course, beginning with sports. So all, what can you say? All the usual suspects there.
Yeah, but fewer AFL games on last week because of the mid-season bye, so they were all right near the top.
And you can see there the real standout, Game of Thrones. We promised No spoilers on that one. Secret City, I keep saying this, have not got around to watching it. I will do. And I guess
well,
that's
there's
the
so
point.
much premium drama on these days.
There
isn't
is, and that's one of the points, I guess, to make when it comes to Game of Thrones. Obviously blowing away all the records when it comes to audience, and we haven't even got the final tally yet,
Yeah,
right?
look,
Because of catch-up. And...
Yeah, look, close to 750,000 just for the overnight figures, which is really incredible for that episode 10 of Series 6, I think it was. 15 episodes to go over 2 seasons, we think, before it disappears completely from our screens. But as you say, we'll get the catch-up, that 7-day catch-up, should push this close to 1 million. Eventually we'll have the 28-day catch-up. So, yeah, they're going to be pretty big numbers for subscription TV.
Yeah, and I guess proving that subscription television can disrupt free-to-air.
Absolutely, yeah. But that's possibly the hottest TV brand in the world at the moment, you know, across free-to-air or subscription. I guess that Game of Thrones just really amazing cut through.
Okay. James Manning, always a pleasure to have you here with
Thanks,
me.
Nada.
We'll see you next week.
Okay.
James Manning there, editor and publisher of Media Week. That's all we have time for this week. But from the team here, thanks for your company.